YouTube found a community, Funkadelic fans, random people on the internet. My name is Giggens, and we are here today to talk about one of my favorite Funkadelic albums, Standing on the Verge of Getting On, Getting It On. This is from 1974, released through Westbound Records, and according to different sources, was either released in July of 1974 or April of 1974. Can't really tell what the actual date was. This continues Funkadelic's reign of absolute funk supremacy. This was their sixth album overall, and coming up right after Cosmic Slop, which is another one of my favorite records by them, that album leading into this one, I love the transition because what they took on that album was a lot more exploration, but more in a poppier sense, and I use that term so loosely. There's more pop construction on that album, which leads itself well into this album, where this is still experimental and still goes places and kind of lets the song take its own journey. It still does kind of rein it in a little bit, and I kind of like that it does that. It makes for a really solid listen. It's just a fantastic album, and plus you get to look at this cover the entire time you listen to it, and the journey this cover takes you on between the liner notes, the amazing artwork on the inside. When you bought a Funkadelic album back in the day, and now too, you're in for a wild ride. Hell of an album, an amazingly talented band. Eddie Hazel on the guitar, and this thing shreds. This was his first album back in a couple of albums, and he'd be on the albums coming up after this throughout the rest of the 70s here and there, but he wrote or co-wrote most of the songs on this thing, so this is a very Eddie-heavy album. So if you're a fan of his guitar playing, this is an album to check out from him. But it opens up with Red Hot Mama, and it starts off with a really long spoken word introduction before just kicking straight into this groove with that sing-along chorus, and the bass that follows the vocal melody is so catchy. The song cruises along with those steady, funky drums, Eddie shredding away. It just sounds like such a fun recording, and that's one of the things that I love about Funkadelic is that you can tell if you were in the studio with them, you'd be having just as much fun hanging out listening to it as they were playing it. And that energy and that vibe and the tenacity to which they attack their music is palpable. I mean, it comes off of the record so well. Alice in My Fantasies is the second song on here. And another song where they land on that one, and that's the James Brown school of music, if you will, landing on the one. It works, and it creates a whole different groove. And I love the high energy on this one, that's slamming away crazy drums, the really fuzzed out overall atmosphere on this track. The riffs on this one sound like something that would make Led Zeppelin jealous. It's one of those songs where it's like, man, these guys knew how to rock so hard. Love this song. I'll Stay is a really curious sounding song, very moody, good kind of atmosphere on this one that lets the empty space kind of take over of more of a prominent role. So the parts that they don't play are equally as important to the parts that they do play. And a song that travels and grows. It's an R&B psychedelic jam. It's a chill jam, but it allows the guitars to weave in and out of each other, creating a lot of different textures. So definitely something to just sit back and listen to after the first two crazy rockers. This one's a nice touch to add in there. The piano on this one is also very delicate, and I like having that layered texture of the piano on there as well. Nice little addition there, but it helps to ground the song a little bit more in terms of working with the guitar and the bass. I like that addition. And then Sexy Ways closes off the first side, and this is just a total dancey hell of a song, man. I mean, it's a total single material type of track. Just an upbeat, happy song. It's so fun. The background vocals are absolutely undeniable ear candy. In the chorus, the guitar wailing away adds to that sexiness. I mean, they were all really big Jimi Hendrix fans, so you could tell this was probably a little bit Jimi influenced, but definitely something that Prince would have heard and been like, I can do that. Absolutely a head-bobbing classic. Side 2 opens up with the title track, Standing on the Verge of Getting It On. I mean, what can you say about this song? It's an absolute classic riff. I mean, Funkadelic for me is one of those bands where if you were in the group, you were a master at your instrument. And playing off of these other guys, you knew how to feel the song and to work with each other because there's a lot of changes that happen in these songs, and to read each other like a book. I mean, it's just a masterclass in being in a band, but it's a sing-along rocking groove of a track. The cymbal work on this one with the hi-hats is fantastic. It lends itself to a different type of rhythm I mean, it's still in a funky beat, but that hi-hat shuffle adds a nice little element there. It's just a great track. It's fun, it's funky, it puts a smile on your face. It's a song that's an anthem for standing on the verge of getting it on. The next song here, Jimmy's got a little bit of bitch in him. From what I can figure out on this song, from what I've read about it myself, of when I'm listening to it, for me, the story of this song almost sounds like a guy named Jimmy discovering he might be gay, or knowing that he's gay, and sort of experiencing the world from there, and the people around him experiencing that as well with his discovery, or just acknowledging who he is as a person. I could be way off about that, and if I am, let me know in the comments. I'd love to know more about this song. It's a short little track, and I like how it changes from like a real rockin' riff, and then to the verses, more of a gentler jazz kind of feel, and I use the term jazz loosely, but definitely an influence there somewhere. I love this track. It's a cool little song. And then it ends the album with Good Thoughts, Bad Thoughts, and this is a calm, 12-minute reflective piece. You know, there's moments of lyrics on here that are basically storytelling, where it's saying, you know, kind of their mantra, free your mind and your ass will follow. It's trying to find the calm in the storm, trying to be yourself, looking for a higher power. And I mean, obviously drugs played a significant role in their music, but I also think their consciousness was of a different plane, kind of like Jimi Hendrix was with his records. So I kind of get that notion from a song like this, where you get this rockin' riff-tastic great time, to have this excellent closer song that's just a calm jam for 12 minutes. It's hypnotic. You get locked in that groove, and I really dig it. It's 12 minutes of very wisely used pieces of wax, or grooves on wax, I should say. Here's the back cover here. And the detail on these things is fantastic. As you guys know, I'm a big fan of Montreal, and I'm sure there was an influence here. Artwork by Pedro Bell. Let me show you the record. This is a reissue. I'm not sure what year this reissue is from. It's fairly recent. I want to say in the last 5 or 6 years probably. But it sounds great. Really, really well pressed. Excellent dynamics on it. And they give you a nice bag with the poly inner inside the paper there. So it keeps it protected. But this is one of my favorite Funkadelic albums. And for a lot of people, it's their favorite Funkadelic album. This one, Cosmic Slop, I mean, any of the first 5 or 6 albums from any of their albums you can't go wrong with. But, you know, these early 70s ones are just absolute masterpieces. So this thing for me is an easy 9 out of 10, hands down. I mean, if you're looking for a great, groovy, funky rock and roll time with some absolute expert musicianship and great vocals. I mean, they started as a vocal group. So, I mean, of course their voices are fantastic, but dig into this if you've never heard it. It's something that you will not be disappointed by. There's so much on here to dig into. It's a hell of an album. So, Funkadelic, standing on the verge of getting it on. Easy 9 out of 10. My name is Giggens. Thank you so much for watching. And let me know what you guys think of this album in the comments below. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.